My name is Michael. I'm a compulsive overeater. I weigh and measure 3 meals a day off the gray sheet. I write them down. I turn them over to my sponsor. I do not eat between meals. And abstinence, my relationship with my higher power, and the fellowship are the three most important things in my life without exception. I guess many of you have never heard my story, so those that have, just bear with me. I came into Overeaters Anonymous in 1974. I weighed 450 pounds at the time. I am currently maintaining a weight loss of 256 pounds. Initially, I had 10 years of abstinence in the OA program. Did all the things I was supposed to do. Got involved in a lot of service, sponsoring, you name it, I did it. Leading meetings, starting meetings. But unfortunately, part of my history is that like the big book says, the thing that can destroy me is that somehow I hold on to that faint thought that one day I will be normal like other people. And that has been my struggle, to be normal. And so I've been around the block many times. I came into Gray Sheet originally in New York City at Yon House in, I believe, 1980, I'd say 1983, 1984. Got abstinent right away. My history is with GreySheeters, I get 2 years, and then I think I'm normal. And losing weight has never been a problem for me. And I think that was also something that got in the way. I think if I had to struggle more, like some people do, I would be more respectful of what it was I was doing. So that happened. Then we moved to Connecticut. My wife had been in Gray Sheet for a while. When she died, February 18th of last year, she had 17 years of back-to-back abstinence, including while she was very, very sick. She died abstinently. She died, on the day she died, she turned the food over to her sponsor, and she took her food from her sponsees. And she definitely is my hero. To be able to do that when in the midst of those kinds of health issues, and I know there are other people in the rooms that are also doing it, is, to me, one of the most amazing things I have ever experienced in my life. And I've experienced a lot of things in my life. I've been around 82 years. I'm 82 years old. And so anyway, when she initially got sick, I know how much she worried about me. And to start with, initially, I came back to Gray Sheet because I wanted her to have one less thing to worry about. You know, I know I can't do this for anybody else, but the truth of the matter is that whatever gets you here, gets you here. The problem is not getting here sometimes. It's staying here once you get here. What we do is not simple. It's not easy. It is really, truly the last house on the block. The requirements of Gray Sheet abstinence they're not easy. they're not hard either. One of the things I've had to learn was to really put my ego aside and just surrender. And I pray for that each and every day. One of the things that I have found and this is the longest I've been around. I guess it's 2 years, 7 months now. So, I crossed the milestone, and I'm very grateful for that. And I definitely could not have done it without Zoom because I live in the middle of nowhere. There's nowhere, I would have to travel 3, 4 hours to go to a face-to-face meeting. I have attended a couple of face-to-face meetings when I was visiting friends down in Connecticut. There are a number of things that I do to stay abstinent. Of course, the first thing I do is I decide what I'm going to eat each day, and I write that down, and I turn that over to my loving sponsor, who has stuck with me for probably over 30 years. Even though, I bounced in and out, and even though she stuck around for well over 30 years of doing this. But she always took me back. She always took me back. So I write my food down from the gray sheet. I weigh and measure my food. I follow the protocols. I do not eat anything that is not on the gray sheet. I plan, prepare, and protect. The other thing I do is I pray a lot. There are quite a few prayers in the big book, and especially the third step prayer. As I'm aging, there are things in my life that I'm not necessarily comfortable with. I'm very grateful. I'm relatively healthy at my age. I have some issues, and I don't like them. And I come from being a very successful athlete. I went to college to a Division I college in the United States on a full scholarship. So I have that vision of myself, that image of myself, and accepting some of my limitations at my age is not always an easy thing to do. The other thing I do is I attend a lot of meetings. I attend a lot of Zoom meetings, and I volunteer as a leader for a lot of the Zoom meetings. I find that having those lifelines, having those connections, are really, really so important for me. I make calls. I make telephone calls. The great thing about you guys on the other side of the pond is when I can't sleep 4 o'clock in the morning, there's always somebody I can call. I mean, that is one of the, I think, wonderful gifts of this whole Zoom concept. That I can always put something between me and the first bite. And that to me is crucial. That to me is crucial. If I can put an action between the thought to pick up, it's very possible that just because I take the other action, the more positive action, it will prevent me from picking up. Sometimes I have to make a couple of phone calls in order to do that. But it really all comes down to my willingness to use the tools of the program. What I've learned over the years watching people that have been abstinent for a very long time is that they're abstinent because they really use the tools. Not that they haven't had opportunities or been presented by situations that where they wanted to pick up, but they put some other kind of action between them and the first bite. And you know what? It works. It works. I changed my mantra recently by adding the fellowship, and I came to realize that truly, without you guys, without this fellowship, without this contact, I doubt very much I would be doing this right now. And there's a part of me that doesn't want to lose that connection. And I know if I pick up, it'll be difficult. I still have a lot of remnants of false pride. So, my ego sometimes will get in the way of best behavior on my part. The other thing I do is I read the literature, no matter what it is. I also ask God every day for acceptance. We say I say the serenity prayer, but it's taken me a long time to understand the serenity prayer. The serenity prayer is a pretty complicated piece of work. What are the things I can change and what are the things I can't change? And how do I accept the things I cannot change? That for me in the past has been the struggle because I'm mixed a fixer. I want to be able to fix things. And if I can't fix things, I become very frustrated. And so it's taken a lot of practice on my part to turn things over to God. The things I cannot change, the things I have no control over, and focus on the things I do have the ability to do something about. What do I have the ability to do? I have the ability to take care of myself. I have the ability to make sure I have the right food in the house. I have the ability to make sure that when I travel, I bring extra scales and extra batteries. Simple, so, it's not always complex stuff. It's always simple. Sometimes it's simple things. A long time ago, I heard somebody say, when I walk along the street, it's not the huge hole in the sidewalk that I'm going to fall into. It's the crack in the sidewalk. It's that little thing that I don't see, that little thing that I presume that is not important. So the other slogan that I've kind of come to believe is that I am as sick as my secrets. And I have found over time, I had major issues with trust when I came into the program. So I have found, I don't tell everybody everything about myself anymore, but I have found the group of people who have what I consider strong abstinence. And I reach out to them. And there are a few people in the rooms that know my entire history. There are people in the rooms that I've turned my fourth step over to. Since I've been back, I'm on my third AWOL. I assume you know what that is, a way of life, which is there's the short form and then the long form. There's the 4-week, 4-session.
1 minute, Mike, 1 minute.
Thank you, where you go through the steps. And then there's the year long, which we're doing. So the last thing I want to say is, I said it the other day, I'm not what I want to be. I'm not what I could be. And often I'm not what I should be. By the grace of God and the fellowship of my abstinence, I am much better than I was before. And that's really all I have to say is that the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop eating compulsively. So if you're struggling, just keep coming back. Thank you. And thank you, Nancy, for asking me to speak.